All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are set to go with our next bout tonight. 6 rounds, this in the welterweight division. And set to make his way to the ring first, fighting out of the blue corner from Bakersfield. Here is Tavoris Teague.
And there he is. Coming out to the blue corner is Tavoris Teague. Some notable names on his ledger, including prospect Jaron Ennis, Jonathan Navarro, who actually fights in this same venue in about 72 hours, Kenneth Sims, and Terrell Williams all dot his resume.
By far the most experienced professional opponent that Ceballo has faced.
Undefeated from the bricks of Brooklyn, New York, Brian Ceballo.
And this young man out of Brooklyn, New York is actually the first official signee to Tom Loeffler's 360 Promotions. He is managed by David McWater and Timothy Van Nieuwhouse of Split T Management. Actually made his professional debut in this venue March 27th, scoring a first-round knockout over Louis Longoria.
That was just 5 months ago, and he's already engaging in his 4th pro bout. That's pretty good activity. That's the way it should be, Steve.
Let's send it up to Joe Martinez.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are set to go with the next bout tonight. 6 rounds, this scheduled in the welterweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing blue trunks trimmed in white, he weighed in officially 146 1/2 pounds. He enters the ring tonight for the 30th time as a professional. Hailing from Bakersfield, California, here is Tavoris Teague. And across the ring stands his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing silver and black, he weighed in 146 1/2 pounds. He stands perfect in 3 professional bouts, 3 victories, no defeats, 1 win coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated welterweight from Brooklyn, New York, Brian Ceballo. And your referee in charge of the action is Zach Young.
As we see the tell of the tape, Ceballo, the younger man at 24. Their height is equal, and Teague has a slight reach advantage.
And we begin round number 1. And before we go any further, I believe Cynthia Conte is with their next guest. Cynthia, take it away.
Well, looky who I found here. I got the man with the golden voice for UFC.
Yeah, baby.
What you do? I had to do that. I always do it for your brother. It is, and then you do like I've seen it. Come on. All right. Bruce, you're here. You are here watching Fight Night here in Hollywood on your nice night off. What are your thoughts of Fight Night here?
You know what, it's great, and I'll tell you why, because I work some of the biggest events in the world, right, which I've had the pleasure of doing. But when I'm sitting here in an intimate setting, watching people putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the line, you know, in the squared ring over here, it's great because A, there's not a bad seat in the house. B, I've got a booth and free drinks. C, I have a great view. But you know, it's awesome. I like intimate settings for pugilistic sports, and luckily, doing what I do, I get the great seat, you know, so it makes it very exciting. And Tom Loeffler and 360 Promotions are doing a great job.
God, I'll tell Tom that. Okay, now you know you have a famous brother, the man with the golden voice here, just a little thing. Do you guys ever have like a voice off? I'm always curious about that. Who has a better voice? Do you tell your mom like who has a better voice? I'm always curious about that.
Actually, we never had a voice off, although maybe some people think during Thanksgiving it's like, it's the mashed potatoes, you know? It's not that. Michael and I will both tell you that the man in our family that has the best set of pipes of all of us is our father, our dad, yeah. Natural Marine drill instructor for 13 years in the Marines, the whole bit. I would walk in a room at 5 and I'd say, hi, Dad. And he'd say, son, project your voice. Let them know you're in the room, right? Okay, Dad. Okay. No, honestly, it was great. Michael Buffer, he's a legend. Michael Buffer's the greatest announcer of all time.
Well, and you are the greatest announcer of MMA, of UFC. Mr. Buffer, Bruce Buffer. Well, I'll let you get back to the fights. Enjoy Hollywood Fight Night. And, you know, drink up. It's official beer of boxing, the God that. And she was.
That's why God made Uber. And also, too, if you have a chance to come to Hollywood to see these fights, you can't beat this setting if you're a fight fan. Trust me. I'm not just saying this. I'm telling you.
You heard it. You heard it here from him. Okay. All right, back, guys. Okay, go.
All right, Cynthia, thank you. As we come to the final half minute of round number 1. Doug, I tell you one thing, the awkwardness of Teague is really troubling Ceballo here in round number 1.
Yeah, it's the awkwardness. It's the angle that he has his body at, which is making his reach advantage a little bit more pronounced. And that reach is causing Ceballos to struggle a little bit. He's run into some jabs and a few right hands.
In situations like this, a young guy like Ceballo needs to just get his jab going. Just be fundamentally sound and don't rush. He's actually run into a few punches, as you noted.
Right, he's trying to leap in. He's trying to beat the reach with his quickness, and he's leapt in with some hooks, and he's ran into some punches.
And checking the Twitter timeline, a real boxing guy, Julius Julianis checking in. Julius, viva. Again, if you want to visit the 360 Promotions website, you can do so on the website below, and there's the rest of the 360 social media accounts. And if you want to tag us on Twitter, use hashtag Hollywood Fight Night. And we begin round number 2, and Doug, while Teague's record is upside down at 5-20-4, keep this in mind, June 23rd, he held the 10-0 Matthew Escobel to a 4-round draw on June 23rd.
Yeah, so on a good night, Teague can be a spoiler. And we saw with an earlier bout tonight, the female fight between Elvina White and Jasmine Clarkson. Just because a fighter comes in with a losing record doesn't mean that fighter can't fight. Clarkson gave White all she could handle. So experience counts for something in boxing, particularly when the red corner, the house fighter, doesn't have a lot of professional experience. I will say this, though, Ceballos has a lot more amateur experience than White brought to her contest.
After making his professional debut on March 27th here at the Avalon, on May 5th, Ceballo won a 4-round decision over Nam Pham at the StubHub Center. And then on June 6th back here at the Avalon against Adan Ahumada, he scored a 4-round decision.
And I thought Ceballos looked excellent against Ahumada. I thought he kind of found his footing, sort of found his professional style, that of an aggressive, active boxer. And we're seeing that athletic style, that in-and-out athletic style, but the reach and the awkwardness, as you stated in the opening round of Teague, is bothering him a little bit. He is still trying to find his range. And it's interesting, when we looked at the tail of the tape, Teague's wingspan was just, I think, 2 or 3 inches longer. But when you see them in the ring, his arms look much longer. Wingspan is measured fingertip to fingertip with the fighter's arms stretched out. It's not necessarily the length of their arms. And Teague is very rangy.
Teague's been very evasive, though. That upper body movement has certainly troubled Ceballo.
And that's that experience. Teague has 29 professional fights. And he wouldn't have lasted this long if he didn't have some defensive moves in there.
Keep this in mind, though. He has been stopped 9 times. So if you do touch him, something does happen. There's a good little short right hand by Ceballo.
I believe Jonathan Navarro, who you mentioned earlier, did score a stoppage against Teague. And I believe it was by going to the body.
Yeah, that's one thing, though. A lot of veteran trainers will tell you, you can move your upper body all you want. The waist and the ribs do not move all that often.
The legs, the hips, the lower body stays stationary. Ceballos is figuring this out.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy. He's made adjustments here in the second round. Nice! That was a right uppercut that hurt Teague.
And that's the end of round number 2, and Ceballo starting to find a bead on a very, very awkward and difficult Tavoris Teague.
He hurt Teague. I tell you what, Ceballos has a fighter's instincts, man. Let's see, with this punch that hurt him, there was a right to the temple. It was a quick jab. He's backing Teague up, and that was a counter right.
It looked like an uppercut
to the body. It was an uppercut. Did it hit him in the body? Let's see from a different angle here.
Right
there it was. It was to the body. Good eye, Steve. And that hurt. That took the wind out of Teague. Teague slumped in his corner. I think they stopped it.
And this fight might be over. And yes, it is being waved off by referee Zach Young.
Teague could not. He could not recover from that body shot. Wow.
So the movement and the upper body dexterity of Tavoris Teague early on did pose some problems for Brian Ceballo, who then figured it out late in round number 2, and he moves his record to 4-0. Let's get the particulars from Joe Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round number 2, referee Zach Young puts a halt to the bout. Your winner by KO victory. He is still undefeated, Brooklyn's Brian Ceballo.
All right, so Ceballo now 4-0, scoring his second knockout. And as they take the gloves off, soon he'll be with Cynthia Conte to talk about his latest victory here at the Avalon in Hollywood, California. This is Hollywood Fight Nights, brought to you by 360 Promotions.